So, as soon as my pad works here. Joining us from Mayer Electric Supply in Birmingham, Alabama, is Barry Carden. He has over 26 years experience in the electrical distribution industry in information technology. His career has moved from computer operator, developer, business analyst to VP and CIO. Barry's team is responsible for all the information technology projects at Mayer Electric, including ERP, e-commerce, web offerings, business analytics, and telecommunications. As CIO, he helps develop and implement not only IT-related strategies and plans, but also the company-wide strategies, and he is a member of the Senior Leadership Strategic Team. Welcome, Barry. Our next panelist is Becky Jacoby, a Senior Technical Manager at Eaton Electrical Sector. Becky has over 17 years of electrical industry experience in customer service, technical support, sales, product line, and training positions. Her team is responsible for the product, process, that's not good, product, process, sales, systems training for Eaton employees, channel partners, and she's gone from instructor-led virtual classrooms to online games and Twitter videos. Her team continuously exploring educational services that maximize blended learning methodologies and styles. Welcome, Becky. And our third panelist is Erin Koester. She serves as the Marketing and Communications Manager for Fan Meter Incorporated. Her responsibilities include public relations, market research, targeted customer campaigns, and overseeing marketing efforts. She has past career experiences in lighting and kitchen cabinet layout design and sales, consulting with builders, electricians in the residential construction industry. She serves as the current chair of Public Relations Committee for Affiliated Builders and Contractors of Iowa. Welcome, Erin. So, as I said, this can be as interactive as you like, and hopefully you will ask the questions that are interesting to you. We're going to start with a question for everybody, though. And this question is, with the current environment, what are you seeing? What challenges are you seeing with your work demographics?
Well, for us, we're a 80-plus-year-old family-owned business. And obviously, we have a lot of workers that are in the older age group, I guess you could say. And so, you know, trying to backfill with the younger generation and getting them kind of working the two together, maybe putting the younger generation with the older generation and trying to work them through to gain knowledge. And then a lot of our customers at the same time are pushing for change. They want to be able to do things electronically, maybe they haven't done in the past. So it's kind of bridging all of that together. It can become somewhat difficult to understand, to get a person who's not used to doing those things to becoming open to doing business differently. So that's been one of the things that we've really struggled with.
Okay.
I would agree with Barry. With right now 15% of my sales organization eligible for retirement, and then we're bringing in our new salespeople, I get less time to teach them more products and services than we did. So the classes are shorter, the programs are shorter. I can pull them away from their sales desk for the shorter number of days. And then I have to bridge the gap because it takes so long to learn electrical products and services for, say, a specific market segment. So we're trying to figure out ways to transfer that knowledge between the generations. And sometimes you have conflict, but I don't necessarily think it's always generational. Sometimes it's personality, and we blame it on generations. Sometimes it's work style, but in general, we have to find ways to get our experienced or seasoned salespeople to partner with our new salespeople.
And do you have a specific strategy that you're working on that?
We're doing it with, we're picking like specific roles, like we were talking earlier, like our application engineers are critical to helping us in our local offices train the salespeople, because I can't be at every office every day for the questions that come up. So we're trying to partner because we have a lot of well-seasoned application engineers. And that's, instead of saying older, they always yell at me about that. They're seasoned. And we're trying to bring new ones in. So what we're trying to do is take them through development programs and then say, if you're technically inclined, would you be interested in becoming an application engineer? And then we put them on that track. And then we have a manager that does an excellent job of facilitating the collaboration between our application engineers. That's just one group. We have, lots of other roles we're going to try to do the same thing with.
Great, great. And Erin, you probably have more of an outward perspective as in the marketing channel.
Yeah, a little bit. I do echo the other panelists. I think a lot of it does boil down to that knowledge gap, that education gap. On the marketing side, we see a huge range in the comfort level with technology. So, we have some coworkers who are carrying around their iPhones and their iPads, and then we have other coworkers who really struggle with building a basic PowerPoint. And we see that with our customer base as well.
Okay, great. Any questions from the audience? I don't see any hands right now, but got a light there. Okay, looking good. All right. So as you talked about, how you're connecting your experienced people with your younger people, what specific strategies are you using to connect the seniors with the juniors?
God,
You want me to go?
what we were talking about is we use communities of practice and communities of interest in SharePoint. I think we've had various tools. You had share drives and folders, and then we had eRoom, which was the next step in a collaboration tool that allowed you to put comments and calendars, but it's not integrated into your email. So you had to log into a separate system, and it's a behavior change. And I think we're all, even ourselves, and even in the training organization, we're guilty of not always using those tools that are available to us. We are in the process of upgrading our SharePoint so it has integration into Outlook, and we're seeing that I can look here and I can see my SharePoint folders and my calendar along with my Outlook information, and I can see the threaded discussions, and I can see the blog, and I can see things like that. So then we're just trying to change the behavior to get them over to use that, because we have the information captured in a lot of instances, but we just have to get people to use that type of tool. So we're definitely seeing some very encouraging results from that.
Okay.
One of the things we're doing is around career planning, and we've actually developing career plans by, say, for a branch manager or a salesperson. The actual branch manager is taking part in building a curriculum for associates to to enter into, so that they can become a branch manager. So that's being developed by them. Same things on the sales end, and it gives when they enroll, they see the classes they have to take, what's expected of them. They can go through the courses. If they're successful, then they could become a candidate. It doesn't guarantee them a position, but at least we realize that we've got to transfer that knowledge, and so we're taking that knowledge from our existing workforce, putting it into a standard format to be taught, and they enroll in those classes, and hopefully they'll have a better opportunity. They may get in it. The good thing about it also that we're seeing, they can get in it and realize that's not really what I want to do. I don't want to be a branch manager. So they get into sales, and well, maybe that's not what they want to do either. So it kind of gives them an opportunity to do their current job, plus get a taste of what's coming.
Great, great. In terms of building to the future, you've got the people that you have in place. What have you changed, or have you changed anything to sort of fill the pipeline, to bring new people into your enterprise and into the disciplines? I mean, marketing is marketing, except it's not. When you're dealing with a whole ecosystem. Erin, you want to address that at all?
Yeah, just within our business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it comes down to really creating a culture that you don't want to leave. And one of the things that we've done within our business is we're an ESOP, employee-owned company, and I know there are other distributors out there who are also an ESOP. And we've created a CEO program where we bring the younger generation in, which would include myself, and teach the individuals how to be an owner. What does retirement really mean, and the value that it brings to stay with the company. But I also think for the younger generation within our industry, we're all fully aware when we look at the demographics that a lot's going to change in the next 10 years. So I think if you get with the right company, there's a lot of opportunity ahead.
Right, and so one of the things that I think is an interesting challenge with respect to knowledge sharing, we can find information if it's available, as Becky was saying. They've got the communities of interest, communities of practice. You can find that in SharePoint. But sometimes you need more than just to know that that's the mountain that you want to climb. Sometimes you need a guide. Are you struggling at all with connecting the knowers with the seekers of knowledge? And what strategies are you using for that?
I can kind of answer that. I would say, yes, that's always a struggle. Sometimes it's tough to kind of pair the two, and where I sit in marketing, I think it helps to kind of have that almost a mediator that can work with the seasoned workers and really understand what are some of the tips and some of that experience that they have, and collect that, and then take that then to the younger demographic and share it, versus even teaming the two up.
Okay, so in that case, they're making visible the people who are the experts. Okay.
Well, I'll touch on something. I guess you can ask me next year when we'll see how this is going, but I'll share something that we're doing, a new initiative, to really involve all the associates in a branch. And this really, because a lot of times we talk about meetings and we meet too much, but a lot of times it's your seasoned workers that there's in those meetings. But we have a process, we call it NQTs, but the branches are really, and all departments are supposed to meet on a localized basis. But what we're going to actually do this coming year is actually tie the bonus to every associate at our company. It's going to be tied into really participation in the NQT, and obviously increasing business and increasing sales, but it's going to involve everybody. So there's an incentive there to do that. So that young person that's driving that truck is going to be able to sit in a meeting with that sales guy and help the sales guy figure out, what can I do, what can we do to increase our business with this customer? Maybe that guy driving the truck says, well, I know he doesn't like, because we don't have this product here on time, our deliveries are late, maybe we move him around. It's that kind of interaction we're looking for, and that's one of the ways we're trying to facilitate that, is through those meetings at the branch level, department level, so that everybody has a stake in it, because they all have a bonus tied to it.
One of the things we're doing too is in our information technology organization is a mentoring program, and the mentors have been assigned from other functions because we're trying to expose high potential employees to expand their business knowledge, but not just, because it was originally thought, let's put IT people with IT people, but we've actually brought in mentors, and so part of it's training the mentors on the how to be a mentor, and then there's various parts of the program and training that's available to them, but also making them very aware that this is one mentor. You have to have multiple mentors throughout your career. You have to find some of your own, because sometimes matching up doesn't work. So there's a constant drumming of, you need various mentors. If you're a female, you need women, you need men, you need people that have been around, you need people that are new. There might be people that are younger than you, or newer to the company, that you would get something from them too. So just keep beating that drum of, building your network, because that's, who you know, and your network is what makes you successful.
Great. Yeah, that networking is critical. I'm looking again, see any questions out there? You guys are going to holler, right? Okay, go ahead.
Knowledge sharing from older generations to younger generations. At my experience with Greenlee and other Textron companies, there's been, it feels like there's uncertainty as to, we've got lots of people that are maybe eligible to retire, but they don't necessarily plan on retiring anytime soon. So they're less willing to let go of that information because, they feel knowledge is power, and if I give it to some newer guy, am I giving away my competitive edge? So it's refreshing to hear the different incentives that you guys are doing, like the tying it to your bonuses or the mentoring programs. Is there any incentive for the mentors to participate in that?
Oh, absolutely. In our case, every associate that's a part of that group that's tied to the bonus, they all get the same bonus, the same dollar amount of the bonus. So from the outside account manager to maybe the receptionist answering the phone, they have the same bonus. It's the same amount. On this particular plan, there's other bonus plans out there, obviously, and commission plans, but for this incentive, everybody gets the exact same incentive amount. So it is, we're trying to create a little peer pressure, absolutely.
We don't incentivize the mentors. We should, but we don't.
Like I said, check with me in a year and we'll see how this thing's going. But we're excited about it.
Getting the mentors to participate, one of the things I saw, the program manager, did a really good job of just kind of playing the egos. Like, you have so much to offer. Plus, I think part of it was matching people up that weren't in the same groups. You know, so you have someone from the sales organization mentoring a project manager in IT. I don't have any problem sharing the information I have because you're not going to take my job. Right. But I can share my company knowledge, I can share the culture, I can share a lot of things with you, and I don't feel threatened. And you know, when you ask the question that way, it definitely makes sense on why you might want to mentor across different functions so you don't have that people feel threatened that you're going to take their job away.
Great. Over here, Tom.
Have you run across, well, look at it from the standpoint of a lead manufacturer, where you have just a certain amount, where you just have a certain amount of individuals that work in certain roles and everybody is very, very busy all the time. Getting adoption in a mentor program, you know, in an environment like that, where it might just be a company culture type thing. But have you run across that problem where it just seems like everybody is uber busy all the time, and you know, even with an incentive program like that, you know, they still have to stop doing one thing that they need to do to help somebody else, potentially in a different department, because there might only be one or two people in that department. So it's looking ahead too to say, you know, who from this other department might be interested in being mentored. So have you run across anything like that?
I haven't. I mean, I don't run the program myself, but I participated. There have been people that have been on projects or on a specific assignment, like an integration assignment, that we had one person that was assigned a mentor, and 2 weeks into the new class had to step away because they were involved in an integration. So I think being respectful and saying, you know what, I'd love to do this, but now is not the right time. I mean, we're all uber busy, you know, and I don't think that's going to change. You know, am I able to carve out 30 minutes a week to have, maybe my person I met with was coffee. We would meet early in the morning one day a week and just have coffee. So I think part of it is, you know, just, personally I like to find a way to give back. So that's how they appealed to me. Others have different reasons for doing it. So I think you have to figure out what motivates and recognize that some people just aren't interested in mentoring. And I've tried it at other groups, other organizations, and it just didn't take off. So I think you have to find the right group and mix and how you position it too. Yeah.
From a distributor standpoint, I agree with you. A lot of times it has to do with the personality of the person. You know, for me personally, I love to mentor, and I want to give, you know, especially my associates working directly for me, I want to see them grow, and I want them to, you know, move in a position that they can take my role one day. So I want to see that, so I'm going to mentor my associates and then the other people that I run into. And that kind of becomes into a personality trait, I guess. But I think also that the company can, the organization itself can facilitate that. Mayor, we're heavily involved in the community, and it's kind of expected of us that we want to give back to the community and to our fellow associates. So I've been at Mayor 26 years, so I've got the doctrine, yes. But for us, for me personally, we participate at the local university, University of Alabama in Birmingham, and I serve on the ITS advisory board. That's not too bad, but the other things I actually do is I go into the classroom and I become a mentor in the classroom for these students that are in the IT MIS program, and I'll actually help them with projects, invite them into our facility. I will guide them along the way, and hopefully not only one day maybe be able to recruit them, but for them to get excited about our industry and to get excited about IT and really get a good feel of, in college you kind of make me learn a lot of theory, but I want to give some practicality to what we're doing. So for me, mentoring is very important, and I try to take time out of my professional career to go do that.
Yeah, but I think you have to realize everybody's not going to be a mentor, just like everybody's not going to be a teacher, everybody's not going to be a coach. Some people are just going to be good role models and individual contributors, and I think you want to be careful not to try to force people into roles that can be destructive.
I think the way that you communicate it too is very important. I think employees need to know that mentoring is a win-win situation, not just a give and take.
The only other follow-up question I would have is in my mind, I just have a definition of mentoring as more of a personal development, trying to convey leadership aspects and company culture and things like that, and I think it'd be very effective for that. But as far as like a product knowledge transfer, like a practical day out, like the information that's leaving the company in retirement from the applications engineer that's been there for 30 years. Do you see mentoring as a way to bridge that knowledge gap, or is it really suited towards something else?
I think it can be. Application engineers mentor every person in their sales office, whether they want to or not, because they are the product and service experts. So you can call it what you want, but they're the ones that get the questions when you can't figure out how to apply a product. So, but I don't think they ever look at themselves and say, "I'm a mentor," in this job. They are the resource. That is very technically competent. So, I mean, you could do it that way, and I know we've done it with a new application engineer. We've tried to bring some on board, and they've been, paired up with an experienced application engineer to help them get up and running. And then here's my network. I have someone to go to if I have a question. I know you might not understand the code or standard for my state, but at least I can go to so-and-so in New York, and he can at least answer a question for me. Doesn't always have to be formal.
Great. Any other questions from the audience? Okay, can we get the, was there one? I didn't see it. Okay, good, thanks. In the middle.
Our SharePoint was being utilized by a few people up there. With all the social networking tools out there that are kind of public facing for the customers, we use SharePoint for the blogging internal, not necessarily formalized training, but just tips and tricks and places where you can collaborate within your departments.
We use it internally. I know some of the companies we benchmarked when looking at the SharePoint tool, like Caterpillar, had internal and external facing, communities of interest or communities of practice, depending on how it was organized. We just do it internal. And so if you want a community of practice, you have to have a sponsor, charter. It's more formal. Communities of interest we use as more of an informal. A lot of time we use that when we want to start, like Smart Grid started off as a community of interest. We had various people across Eaton involved in that, and now it's actually becoming a community of practice where there's file structure, documentation, calendars, web sessions and calls, but it didn't start that way. So then I don't know if we'll ever go external, just because of security, and then how do you, it's another portal, but it's really working well from an internal perspective, but I think you have to manage it too.
Great, got that question. Okay, can we put my slides back on? Oh, did you see another one go up over there? No, okay, that's Amanda running back. Want to leave you with just one thought as we walk away, and this is from an important culture icon that most of us can identify with. Get the slide deck up. There we go. Go back.
Please.
Line up.
Computer? Computer? Ah. Hello, computer.
Just use the keyboard.
The keyboard. How quaint.
That's I think it illustrates the challenges that we run into. There are always going to be new things, and in this case, old things, that we're going to have to address, work with, try to figure out how to make do with. There's always a common language if you're willing to take the time with it. In this case, the common language was the keyboard. But you know, that question I asked before, when you think of a number, how do you reach it? Do you dial a number? Do you punch it with your fingers? Do you dial it with your thumb? Or do you do like I'm starting to do now, think of a name and say connect? The world's changing, and we can all connect. And I think that's the most important thing that's going to help us bridge the knowledge gaps and build and deal with our multi-generational workforces. I think that's it for us. Thanks to Barry, Rebecca, and Erin.